All right. So thank you to those who've come along. Today I think we've got a few people online watching, so hello to everyone online. And if you can't hear me, please just let us know. And I know the guys here are eating, but they'll try and eat nice and quietly for us, so you don't have to hear them eating. But it is lunch and learn, so that's what they're here to do. So we're going to talk about digital grants, but I'm just going to do a little advertisement beforehand to say that Startup On-Ramp starts on Monday, as does our Youth Digital Marketing Skills Workshop. So Startup On-Ramp is if you're looking to start a new business or a new venture and you need some support to do that. So how do you do it? It's a 12-week program that goes through the structure of how to get started. We also look at how would you seek investment if you're looking to get investment, and how do you understand a term sheet, those types of things as well. But also the opportunity to pitch your business at the end of the 12 weeks. Hopefully you're near to ready to launch or ready to launch, and you then have the opportunity to pitch to an audience at our Christmas party on the 12th of December. And then potentially some of those people, not all, but some of those people who participate really well, do a great job, pitch really well, will then have the opportunity to go and pitch down in Brisbane at the Myriad Festival next year as well. So a lot more exposure into the market. So it's a great opportunity. So if that's something you're interested in, give me a call this afternoon and we can have a chat about it, or over the weekend. I've got nothing better to do. So give me a call, we can chat about it. It does start on Monday night. It is being offered via Zoom, so you don't have to come in person, so it doesn't matter if you're further away or you have other things happening that you can't physically be here on a Monday night, so you just have to dial in from wherever you are. So that's nice and easy. All right, so that leads us into today. We've had a few more people join, so welcome. So we're going to kick into today's session, which is about the current Small Business Digital Grant. So the digital grant is available now. It is open in round 5, and round 5 will close at 5 p.m. on the 8th of October.
Yes.
Please don't leave thinking about it until 4 p.m. on the 8th of October. Think about it today and tomorrow, even Monday. Get your application done in as soon as you can.
All over the world.
You know, you'd be assessed any earlier or anything like that, but it means that you won't miss out and you'll have a better quality application. So don't leave it to the last minute. So today we're going to talk about a few different things. So are you eligible? First, hi, how are you? Hello. Good. Yes. Yeah, sure. Come on in, grab a seat. So we're going to talk about, are you eligible? Why is the government offering this money? What can you use it for? What can't you use it for? And how does it actually work? So if you're successful, what happens? And then we'll have a little bit of time for questions as well. So to start with eligibility, now if this is a cut and paste from the thing, it's not, I don't want to ad lib on it. Ooh. Right. Okay, cool. No, you're right. I just thought you might have been looking for us.
We've got it up here.
So it's really important that you consider if you're eligible before you bother wasting time. If you're not eligible, today and focus on something else. Yeah. So you have to have less than 20 employees at the time of applying. You have to have an ABN and be registered for GST. Okay, so that's really important. If you're not registered for GST, you need to register for GST. Otherwise, you're not eligible. Okay.
Does that exclude all the small businesses?
Program.
They have to register for GST.
They can.
They can. Yep, anyone can.
You online?
Yeah, that's right. So anyone can register for GST. If you register for GST,
you're right.
Oh, we're about. You have to.
Canvas coalition.
Yeah.
Canvas
coalition. You don't have to be earning over $75,000 to register. It's only if you earn over $75,000 you have to be registered. But anyone can be. All right. So to apply for this.
I will see you up there.
You have to have Queensland headquarters, so you have to be based in Queensland. You might have offices or staff outside of Queensland, that's fine, but your core business has to be based here. And a turnover of $2 million or less in the last financial year, okay? So not this current financial year, but in the last financial year, 2 million or less, and not be insolvent or have owners or directors that are an undischarged bankrupt. So if you've got someone who's been bankrupt and discharged, that's okay, as long as your business is solvent now. But if there's anyone who's a director or owner in your business who's undischarged, you also can apply. So some really quick checkpoints there, okay? But it's the registered for GST one that a lot of people will get caught out on. So make sure that if that's you, that you just register for GST. It's not difficult, you just go onto the website and register. Now, only one application will be accepted from an individual ABN or a financial beneficiary of a business, okay? So you can't have multiple, like even if you've got multiple projects happening in your business or multiple teams, you can't have them all applying. You get only one. If you've been successful in a previous round, you cannot reapply. Okay, so successful applicants can't reapply for funding under this grant program in future rounds. This is a bit contradictory, but if you've had it before, you can't get it this time. Okay, can't apply. And also, your business must be in a financial position to pay upfront for the approved products or services in full. And then if successful, approved applicants will then be reimbursed after submitting invoices and proof of payment. Okay, so if you're doing something that's going to cost $20,000 and you're applying for $10,000 of funding, you've got to have the $20,000 to pay for the job, and then you've got to submit all your paperwork, and then you'll get the $10,000 back. It could take a while, so you have to be prepared for that as well. So no matter how much you're applying for. No, but my guesstimate would be anything up to 6 weeks.
Have you had much experience with successful applicants?
We have, yeah, we've had several successful applicants, and yeah, it depends on how quickly they submit their paperwork, whether they actually submit everything at once, because if you submit it and you haven't got everything, they'll just come back to you and ask for it and you go back to the bottom of the file. So yeah, it's hard to know exactly. Plus they only do payments on certain days. So just make it before a cut-off, you might get paid in a couple of days like that cut-off, but if you just miss it, you might have to wait like 7 days before you get your payment as well. So there's lots of variables in there as to when that money can arrive. All right, so just be aware, if you don't meet the criteria, again, just move on with your day. All right.
You can't apply for something that's already started, so work that's already
Yeah, we'll come back to that. Yeah, so yeah, just on actual eligibility of you as an organisation.
Would they accept work defined as?
No, we'll get to that as well, but no. Yeah, sure. Question online?
Yeah, Joy. I don't know if you can hear me. It's Rebecca. Can you hear me?
So either take yourself, actually we're not. So if you type in the chat, who was it? Rebecca, if you just want to type in the chat. And we'll answer that question. Okay, any others here while we're waiting for that to come through?
Last financial year, looking to start right now.
Sorry, the question?
Just want to understand last financial year, looking to start right now. Do you need turnover in the last financial year?
No. So you don't have to have turnover in the financial year, but if you do, it just can't be more than $2 million. Okay? So yeah, have a turnover of $2 million or less in the last financial year, but 0 is also acceptable. Yeah, so that's fine. Okay, so hopefully that answers it okay. All right, cool. All right, so the next part, why is the government offering funds to small businesses? So there has to be an agenda behind it. They're not just generous. They have an agenda, they have a purpose. And when you're submitting your application, you have to be acutely aware of what their purpose is, because if you don't meet their criteria of what they're looking for, they're not going to get the outcome that they need, so therefore they're not going to fund you, okay? So you might have a really lovely written application and what seems to be a great purpose of what you're going to use the money for, but if at the end of the day, your objectives of what you want to achieve out of it don't meet their objectives, you're not going to get funded, okay? So I've got 2 pages of these, there's quite a few. You don't have to meet every single one, but obviously the more boxes you can tick, the better. So the first one is what they want is for small businesses to be strong and agile. So for businesses to be able to actually hold themselves up as a business. They don't want weak businesses, all right? They want strong businesses and agile businesses that can move quickly as required. They also want small businesses to grow into a global market, to be competitive globally. So no longer does a small business only need to service the people surrounding it. It can service anywhere, anyone. They want more Queensland small businesses servicing global markets in a competitive way, okay? They also want to encourage the utilisation of new technologies. So there's a lot of new technology out there. They want small businesses adopting that and taking that on wherever possible. And obviously they understand there's a cost to that, so that's why they're helping, but they want it happening because it creates more efficiencies and better productivity within a business. So those three top things are the core things. Everything that sits under that and on the next page are, I guess, the broken down part of those three core things. So if you can't see how this will make your business stronger, how it will help you grow towards being competitive globally, and it may not be instantly, but at least move you towards that, and you're not going to be utilising new technologies for your business, and it doesn't mean like cutting edge leading technologies, but new for your business, so it's starting to adopt technologies that exist. If you can't see how these funds will help you achieve that, don't bother applying. That's what they want, okay? So you have to work out how what you're asking for fits their agenda, okay? So when we break that down a little bit, and that one's a bit hard to read, but access the latest digital technologies to increase productivity is really important. If there is tech out there and you getting your hands on it and implementing it into your business will allow your business to be more productive, big tick, okay? Big tick. Employing more staff, almost 2 ticks, okay? If you can see that by bringing on this whatever, okay, and we'll talk about whatever means in a minute, but if it will result in you employing more staff, huge tick. They want more employment. Doesn't have to be full-time. Could be someone casual, could be someone part-time or full-time. Multiple part-times often equate even to be better than a full-time. So yeah, employing staff, you want to see how what you're doing can make that happen. To access training, to use tech effectively. So there's a lot of tech out there, but if you're not using it well, then it's not really helping your business. So they're giving you funds so that you can access that training to actually adopt things and implement them better. You might even have a system that you bought, but you're not really using it, but you need to train your staff to be able to use it or train yourself to be able to use it, then that's what the funds are for, okay? So don't just say, I'm going to buy the next latest software if I don't know how to use the previous one. Just learn how to use the previous one if that's required. Or make sure you implement training and the purchase of the software into your funding budget, okay? So any questions about those? We're okay with that. So we have to be really acutely aware of what's the government's agenda, because your grant application has to clearly state how you're going to achieve these things by asking for the money to do what you want to do. So improve business confidence. It's really important for the government to know that there is confidence in businesses so that they will spend more money, not just in retail across the board, but if we're confident that we're going to earn money, we'll be confident to spend money, and that cycle just gets bigger and bigger. So how will this improve business confidence, both for yourself and your customers, and sustainability, all right? Will it allow you to reach further? Will it allow you to reach maybe deeper into a market? Will it allow you to better service an existing customer in more ways? Okay, so what will it allow you to do to make your business more sustainable, to broaden, like if you might be only one source of revenue, but this will allow you to have multiple sources of revenue, okay? So that you are more likely to weather the weather, you know, whether the drought or whether a decline in your industry, whether a change in legislation or a change in, you know, societal thoughts, like, you know, if you currently produce sugar, sorry, but, you know, people, even though we love sugar, are trying to move away from sugar, so maybe you need to diversify. So that's part of it. To expand their market through an online presence. So the government is really pushing hard on getting brick and mortar businesses to have some form of online presence that allows them to reach further and further. Okay, so expanding that market out, very much so. Working smarter and less hours. So there's always a deeper reason for things. The state government pays healthcare. If you're working a lot and you're getting worn out and, you know, for whatever reason you have to go to the hospital and, you know, be treated by a doctor and claim on Medicare and all those sort of things. Some are state, some are federal, but our health system is generally state-based for hospitals. The more people are working less hours, the less stressed they are, the less da-da-da, so therefore the less hospital time they have. And that's just one example. There's multiple examples of that, but they do want us to be happier and healthier. That means we go out more, we spend more money on entertainment, we spend more money on, you know, leisure activities, we holiday more, you know, all those sorts of things if we are not working so much. Be more innovative. So whether that's within your business premises or just your business practices, how can you be more innovative? So do you need hardware and smart technologies within your office environment? That can be something that, you know, they're keen for you to do, because again, it feeds back into that working smarter if there's more automation within your business. And making it easier to do business, and I've just put some online payments there, but online payments is definitely one of the things that they're really keen for you to be able to do. How can you earn money quickly and easily and less manually, okay, and from further afield? So if you can find a way to access the funds to purchase the hardware or the software to make it easier to do business with you, then that's a tick as well, okay? So any questions on any of those? And we'll get online a minute as well. Any questions here?
I may be getting ahead of you, but just curious, if you're a digital business, can you still apply for the grant?
Yeah.
If you're entirely online?
So long as you met those other criteria, the eligibility criteria, yes. It doesn't matter, service or product, online, offline, that doesn't matter. So long as you've met the eligibility criteria and what you're applying for the funding for is going to achieve, there's no rule, but I'd say probably at least 2 or 3 of these things. And if I go back a slide, those top 3, is it going to make your business stronger? Is it going to help you move towards being more global and utilising new technologies? And again, new at least for your business, if not brand new leading edge. If you can't find how it fits in those 3 things, it's probably not going to happen, all right? And then the ones under that are just kind of breaking those down. So you really have to just see how is it going to fit and tick at least a couple of those boxes. If you can't tick any, don't bother applying. If you can only tick one, think a little harder. You know, what else could you ask for? And we'll talk about that in a minute. What else could you ask for that would actually help you move towards that? And if you can tick 3 or 4, fantastic. That's what they want to see. Okay. Any questions online? No. Okay. Cool. All right. So when it comes to how much and what can you use the funds for, so it's match funding of up to $10,000 for the purchase of hardware, software and services. And services can include things like digital coaching. So you can pay someone to help you learn how to do these things, to help you devise a strategy. We'll talk about what you can't claim for in a minute as well. The minimum grant though is 1,000, which means a minimum project size of 2,000 because they're funding 50%. So if you apply for 10,000 of funding, the project has to be worth 20,000 or more, okay? And then 10,000 is the maximum. The minimum $2,000 project to get $1,000 worth of funding, okay? If you're looking to just get a laptop for $800, it's not enough, all right? Because it's only $800, $400 too low. So you need to add a few extra things to that. Okay, but you must show how the digital technology and service purchase and adopted, so not just I'm going to buy it, I'm going to buy it and use it, okay, how that will enhance the digital capability of your business and help you be more competitive and employ staff. and it is an and on the form, okay? That's really what they're aiming for, is employment, and that is one of the big tick boxes,
But it
okay?
doesn't have to be full-time.
Doesn't have to be full-time employment, no, and it can even be engaging a service provider on an ongoing basis. So you don't necessarily have to say, I'm going to employ someone, but I'm going to, have a contract with a digital agency who's going to help me, ongoing. That could be it. You're creating work ongoing. So there's 4 segments that you can apply for funding for. You need to fit into at least one of these. You can cross over, you can have multiple, but you have to fit into one. So the funds can be used for content development, so websites or web pages. If you've already got a site, you might just want additional pages, like a shop. If you don't have a shop, you've got a presence but not a store. Okay, you want people to be able to buy from you. Mobile apps, visual and audio media. Okay, YouTube, podcast, all those sorts of things. Receiving payments of selling for, I think that should be selling online. Okay, so actually something that's going to allow you to receive payments by selling online. Specialized digital technology or software that's business specific. Okay, so if you're looking for a particular, like for us, we run a co-working space. There's a software platform out there called Nexodus, which is about, the next desk sort of thing. And it's consolidates a whole lot of stuff into one. We could ask for that. It's software specific to what we do. All right. Digital planning, digital marketing strategy development, and digital training are also what you can ask for funds for. So having someone help you determine what is it that you need to do in your business to develop those things, to broaden your reach, to create a YouTube series, whatever it might be. You can have someone help you with the planning, the strategic development, and also the training. How do I do that? How do we use that software? How do I use this equipment to therefore increase my reach, deepen my relationships with my customers so that they spend more money so I can employ someone. So whatever that is. Question online?
Do you have to pay for hardware outright, or would they support the purchase that is on a payment plan, like you can do, say, a laptop?
Yeah, so the answer to that would be you'd need to pay for it up front because you have to spend the money inside of 3 months and you have to acquit it. So if you're paying maybe a 1-year subscription or something, that would be fine. But if it was a monthly subscription that you were only paying it monthly for a year, that wouldn't work because you'd only be able to claim the first payment, really. That's all. Maybe the first couple of payments you'd get in, but that's all. If you're paying an annual subscription, you get the first year, but you wouldn't get the second year. You can't hold the funds for later use. You've got to use them there and then. So hopefully that answers the question. Just let me know if they ask another. Okay. So any other questions about those just here now? Yep.
So I just want to clarify, particularly obviously the podcast space. So you said it can't be used for projects that are already up and running. So if a person already has a podcast and they wanted to apply for some funding under this to expand their podcast somehow, but they're already doing the podcast.
Yeah,
It's the
that's
work
fine.
that's getting done. So
Yeah,
say for example,
it's on the next slide.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. So
So if you already had a web page built, you couldn't get that paid.
so
For
yeah.
any future work on the website. So
Yeah,
if I
but
was
say
adding
if
a
they-
shop
if
or-
they've only got the current episodes done and they want the next one,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
counts.
Yeah.
Even though the project is already
That's right. So anything that you're paying for in that period that's going to have your business grow is fine. So yeah, your business is already running, and if your business is a podcast, it's already running, that's fine. But if this is going to allow you to improve the quality so that you can now be listed on iTunes where you weren't before, and that will allow you to get a sponsor that you didn't have before, and therefore employ an editor that you didn't have before, then that would work.
Okay.
But if it's just
Which
to
I
do
did
it
have
again,
edited before, i.e. me,
yeah, but you want to employ
but
somebody,
they want to keep working with me. I'm just trying to think about how I can say this to
Yeah.
people.
okay, yeah. So
We can keep going.
yeah, so you can't get the funds to keep doing what you're already doing.
Yeah.
You have to get the funds to do something you're not doing already, so that you can get more customers, employ more people, have a stronger business. Yeah. Anything online? No. Okay. All right. Anything else here in the room on that? No? Okay. So what won't be funded? So don't bother asking for these. The answer will be no, and not will it be, no, we won't fund that bit. It's like, no, you didn't listen. Your application's scrapped. It'll literally be that way because this will be a totally oversubscribed grant. So many people will apply and so many people will get it wrong and they'll just be out because they've asked for the wrong thing. So projects with a total cost of less than $2,000. No, we covered that before. So if you want to buy something and it's $1,500, find something else to buy that makes it over $2,000. But you still have to put in half. So don't forget that, okay? You've still got to put in your bit. Travel costs for any party, no, okay? So if you want to do a video workshop and you see that, you know, what is it, girls in film or something are running their workshop on the coast, you can go do the workshop, but you can't cover your costs to get there and your weekend at the coast while you're there, okay? No. Similarly, you can't pay for someone to come to you to deliver the training, all right? You can pay for the training, but not the travel. Services delivered in kind, no. So if somebody says the cost of this is $10,000 and they do a quote for you and it says, you know, $10,000 is the cost, but I'm only going to charge you $5,000, even though it's worth 10, you only have to pay me 5. No, okay, that's not on the paper, no.
But how about services that have already been delivered in kind?
No,
Can't be
nothing
held up
retrospect.
against the investment.
No. So I'll explain that on the next one where we talk about the payment and the cycle of how it works. But anything that's already done or already done prior to the date of your approval is totally disregarded. Okay, just like it's never happened, can't count for anything. So don't do anything between applying and approval either on it in that way because it doesn't count. Okay, and we'll get to that point as well. So fees for services delivered by related parties, no. So you can't pay yourself for editing your own podcast.
And my husband can't pay me to edit his podcast.
No, that's right. So related parties is like the director of a company or, you know, your brother, your mother, your child, no. Okay, can't pay any of them. Franchisee fees or related costs, no. So if you have a Donut King franchise and you want to create a website for Donut King Toowoomba, I'm sorry, Donut King Toowoomba, but no, they won't do that, okay? There's a franchise, they should pay for it. Direct selling businesses, Tupperware, Avon, Nutrimedics, no, none of those, okay? You can't get anything for any of them, okay? Has to be your business. Maintenance of existing digital technologies, okay, no. So if you've already got a subscription to Adobe, you can't ask for next year's subscription.
Or hosting or the main.
Yeah, so that's here as well. So anything existing, no. Website hosting as a standalone cost, no. However, website hosting will be covered for up to 12 months if it's part of a new build or an upgrade. So if you've dodged up your own little like Weebly site and now you're going to someone to say, please rebuild my website and host it on whatever platform, and as part of that quote, they'll rebuild the website and include 12 months worth of hosting, that's fine. But you can't just say, I've got this website and I just want to cover the hosting, right? So you're part of a bigger project, but it can be an upgrade or a new build.
Upgrades are okay.
Yeah.
Because that's not maintenance of existing digital.
That's right. Upgrade. It's going to do something it didn't do before.
Yeah.
Yeah. And access, you know, more customers, more money than it wasn't doing before. Yeah.
Would it cover things like just redesigning?
No.
So it would
That's
be like adding a
maintenance.
booking calendar or adding a shop?
Adding a shop. And I'd say adding a shop.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much that's it. I can't really see many other things. If it
Booking
won't,
calendar, so that would visualize your
so long as you can pay through it.
Yeah.
What about if they're booking like a hairdressing salon booking in?
Maybe.
Stopping the phone and emailing. I
Yeah,
think that could pass.
yeah, that probably could pass. But
What about the subscription fee on that booking tool?
for the
So some of the guys purely.
first time, yeah, if you're paying for it for the first time, then yeah, but not if it's a like monthly thing. You don't
So
be
you
able to.
get one that's upfront pay.
Yeah, and most of them do. Like, to be honest, most of them have a fee per month, but a discount if you pay for the year in advance, and that's how they usually work. So yeah, purchase of non-project related assets such as stock. So you can't buy more stuff to sell, okay? You can only buy stuff to sell it via, not the actual stuff itself. Salaries, no, so you can't pay your staff wages with it. So you can't say, I'm going to get this funding and employ somebody and use that money to pay for them. No. So I'm going to get this funding and create a better business that will allow me to employ someone that I can pay forever. That's what we want. General business operating costs, so paying your rent, paying your electricity, paying your whatever. No, can't use any of that. Paid advertising campaigns, no. Facebook, AdWords, no. Can't use the money to pay for the ad. Okay, so you can't use the money for that. However, you can use the money to create a strategy for what you're going to do, but again, you want that to be something that you're learning, so it's an ongoing thing, as opposed to this is an ad that I'm doing once and that's it, because it's not sustainable. And retrospective payments for expenses incurred prior to the grant funding approval date or work already undertaken. So anything that you do prior to approval, no, okay? You just can't claim, or anything you've done beforehand, all right? Just doesn't come into the equation at all. It's got to be new, okay? So any questions on that, online or here?
I have one.
Yeah.
Maybe isn't good answer anyway. So I know that the business that applies for the grant has to be Queensland based.
Yeah, their headquarters have to be in Queensland.
Yeah. Then if you wanted to hire some kind of service provider, does the service provider have to be Queensland?
No, not at all. They can be anywhere. They could be overseas. Doesn't matter. Yeah. So if you're getting an app built, you might have a team overseas. That's fine. But your business has to be domiciled here. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions online?
When's approval likely?
Good question. This is the Office of Small Business. I don't think they've actually even said this time, which is kind of nice because usually they say and then they change it and delay it. I would estimate 6 weeks, but I don't think they've actually said.
And that's 6 weeks from the closing date.
Yeah, from the closing date. It depends on how many applications they get. No, it's not, they're not suggesting, but I would suggest probably at least 6 weeks. Don't count on doing anything straight away. Okay, it'll take them a while and it will be oversubscribed for sure. Okay. All right, so this is the flow. This is how it works. So what you need to do today is consider your business goals and how digital technology can assist in achieving your goals. All right, you need to know what it is that you want to achieve as your business. What are your objectives? What are you wanting to do? Do you want a global business? All right, do you want to expand your market in a different way? If you don't, and you're quite happy and comfortable where you are ticking along, then this is not really for you, all right? It's if you're wanting to expand. Discuss your objective with a service or product provider and confirm the viability of what you're wanting to do. Remember, you've got 3 months to get it done in. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but it has to be able to be done in that time frame. And request a quote. You have to have a written quote which details the work that's going to be done to submit with your application. So don't leave it until the 7th of October to ask them for a quote.
And a project it, so time frames and everything, so it's not
Yeah.
just like a
Yeah,
money quote.
it has to
the
be
whole
viable.
Time frame and everything.
That's right, to fit within. Yeah. So check that viability, because if they say, I can do that for you, it'll take 6 months, well, no. Break it down. What could you get done in 3 months? Let's just apply for that, and then we'll go with the rest. Question?
In the case of a startup platform-based business, would I apply for the grant time to take MVP mobile money spent?
Can you just read again, sorry?
In the case of a startup platform business-based, could I apply for the grant time to take MVP mobile app money spent? In the case of a startup platform.
Yeah. So if I understand the question correctly, you're asking, so you don't have a business, you're looking at checking the viability of creating an app. So if we go back to the slide around what are you doing, if it's around a strategy and learning, then you could go there, but again, you can't pay yourself to do it, so you have to be engaging someone else to do something, but it also has to be very much digital related, so digital strategy related. If you're actually building the app, then yes, but just market testing the idea and confirming the validity of an idea, no, you wouldn't be able to do that. So if that answers the question.
And if they're getting an MVP built, it would have to be built within 3 months.
That's right, yeah. If you're actually building a minimum viable product, you have to be able to justify how it's going to make you money. And if you've not yet done that, you may struggle on that account. So if you've not validated the idea already, so probably if you've got a prototype or an MVP there and you're looking to now build the real deal, or at least a part of it, that might be fine, but
I don't think actually do have
struggle.
to prove to validate. So for example, say someone wanted to add a shop to their website, so they actually have to validate that it's going to sell product.
Mhm.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, you have to explain that in your application. Yeah, how it's going to make you more sustainable business, actually sell online. Yeah, so you have to show that. Okay, so if that didn't answer the question, please just ask the question again for the person online.
5-minute chat.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you have a discussion. So you think about what you want. You have a discussion with the person who can provide it for you, because remember you can't pay yourself. And you get your confirmation that it can be done and get a quote. You then need to prepare your application in a draft format and get it reviewed by someone else to make sure that it's clear and readable. So get someone to read through it for you, and who's actually going to pay attention to what they're reading and go, do I understand what you're asking for? Do I understand how this will meet the objectives of the government? Okay. Are you clearly explaining how this is going to help your business grow, how this is going to help your business become more sustainable, how this is going to improve efficiency or productivity, how this is going to help you employ somebody? If it doesn't, you need to reword it. Okay, so get someone else to read it, because you reading it back yourself doesn't help. All right, you're not the one assessing it, unfortunately. So yeah, get someone else to read it. Then once you've done that and you've edited your draft, and that might take a couple of goes. So again, don't leave it till the day before. Complete your application online. They use Smarty Grants, fairly straightforward system to use. You'll need to put in all of your details, like your name and address and phone number and ABN and all of that sort of stuff. But then you'll need to answer the series of questions. So when you're doing your draft format, you can get a draft copy of the questions online, and make sure you're answering the questions that they're actually asking. Don't just sit there and write this pretty essay and then hope that it fits the boxes. So actually check what the boxes are, and the easiest way is just to go into the form and print it out, and then submit that, and then confirm that you receive a confirmation email, because they'll send you an email to say, we got your application. Check that, because if you don't hit the button and it doesn't go and they don't get it, well, you'll never get approved and you've wasted your time. So just take those few minutes to make sure that it actually went through. And then you have to wait patiently, very, very patiently. And do not start the work or buy anything on your quote. Okay, so just don't start. Then, when you receive notification of the outcome of your application, if you are approved, then proceed with the work as per the approval. Make sure you read the approval. They may not have actually approved everything that you've asked for, so just be careful of that. Generally, in this size grant, if you ask for anything that's ineligible, they'll just scrap your whole application and you get an ineligible letter. But if someone the gods have shined on you and they've looked at it and said, well, look, I like what you're doing, but you've asked for this and we can't fund that, but we'll fund the rest, make sure you pay attention to that, because they're only going to give you back the money for half of what they agree to, not everything. And then make sure you get that work done within 3 months, okay, from the approval date, not from the day you read your email, from the day they approve it, okay, which could be several days prior to you getting notified. So check on that. Then the work's done within that 3 months. You have to pay 100% of the cost to the provider and get a receipt. So you've got a quote. Now that quote may have changed as well. So be aware of that. Sometimes quotes are only valid for 30 or 60 days, okay? Particularly if you're buying something from Harvey Norman, you've gone out there, picked out the laptop and the monitor you want or whatever. If the quote is invalid and you can't get it for that price, you need to get a new quote and a receipt and keep those together, okay? And you have to pay the entire amount. You then submit your acquittal to say, I did the work that was required, I bought what it was, I did the training, I whatever, and I've got my quote and my receipt and an invoice to the government to say, I want you to pay me the money, so you need an invoice as well, and that invoice is for 50% of the agreed amount that you could spend, okay? So the amount they're going to fund you as a maximum. If you don't spend it all, that's okay. Try to, but it's okay. So if you go and let's say you want to buy, I'll just use laptop as an example, a $3,000 laptop, and you've been approved for $1,500, and then you go and they're on sale and you can get the laptop for $2,500, they're not going to give you $1,500. They're going to give you $1,250, being half of what it cost you. So just keep that in mind as well. So maybe get a mouse and a stylus pen and something else thrown in the bundle with the laptop. Yeah, that's it. So that's the process. So any questions on that? No?
Back to the application, sorry.
Yeah.
Like, of the successful ones that you've had, how did you make them stand out individually?
There's none. There's not anything. Making sure, I guess the basic things are making sure that your wording clearly describes how you're going to meet the objectives of the grant. You still have to describe what you're going to use the money for, and you've got your quote attached, and this is what we're going to do, but this is what we're going to do. This is how it's going to help our business